The big new Subaru Ascent 7-seat SUV may be no closer to an Australian debut, but the company's local boss says he'd welcome it with open arms. At the Australian launch of its much smaller stablemate, the 2017 Subaru XV, Managing Director Colin Christie said the Ascent would make a fitting complement to the brand's SUV lineup here. "We're in constant conversation with Subaru about a whole series of things from a product planning point of view. The Ascent is definitely one we're talking to them about. But, at this point in time, there is no indication we'll get that product. It is definitely designed to be built in the American plant, only as a left-hand drive offering. But, if it ever became available to us, it's certainly something we'd be interested in still, even if the Ascent were to descend down under." Christie doesn't see it as a volume rival to the likes of the Toyota Kluger or Mazda CX-9. The Kluger managed 1195 sales in May, while the CX-9 found 770 homes. "The way we'd look at it, and similar to the Tribeca we had a while ago, is that it's more of a complementary product for the range. I don't think it'll be massive sales volume for us if we could get it. To be honest, we haven't even done the work to look at it, because, at this stage, we're not getting the car." In Christie's view, the Ascent would work best as a means of keeping buyers in the Subaru family as they move through a life cycle that, for some, includes upsizing to a 7-seat family hauler before downsizing again into the empty nester phase. At the moment, those buyers are potentially leaving the brand, and then it's obviously more difficult to get them back in as they downsize again down the road. So, definitely a complementary product rather than an out-and-out volume seller. But, to be honest, they don't represent a huge amount. I think, though, that's probably because they already know we don't have one, or they've gone online and found we don't have one. We don't get a huge amount of feedback from dealers that customers are coming in looking for a 7-seater. For now, Subaru will be hoping most families' needs are being served by the 5-seat Outback. With 1195 sales in May, and 5045 for the year to the end of May, it is comfortably one of the best-selling models in the large SUV segment.
The all-new 2017 Subaru XV is expected to deliver around 1,000 sales each month for the brand in Australia, positioning it near the front of the race in the small SUV segment. By comparison, and apart from a couple of standout months, the outgoing Subaru XV's monthly numbers in 2016 were closer to the 500 to 700 mark. But, while the company is confident this new generation model will outdo those numbers, it admits it would struggle to do much better than 1,000 in a month, even if demand were there. Speaking with Car Advice at the Australian launch of the 2017 XV, new Subaru Australia Managing Director Colin Christie, formerly the company's Marketing and Sales Director, concedes production capacity can be a constraint on local potential, but the company can occasionally push for more. "If you take last year, we managed to finish at 47,000 cars. Earlier in the year, it looked like we were going to miss that number by a couple of thousand, in terms of production. So, depending on how our markets are going, and our performance, we've been able to secure extra production," he said. "And even this year, same thing. We were probably 1,000 or 2,000 cars short of where we wanted production, and we've been able to get that. But it is still tight, and you're always challenged with what sorts of cars you can get. If it can achieve around 1,000 sales per month, the XV would still sit behind top sellers like the Mitsubishi ASX 1742 in May 2017 and Mazda CX-3 1542, although it would be neck and neck with the Honda HR-V 1029 in May and Nissan Qashqai 1028. With those production limitations in mind, combined with specification and pricing differences, Christie is not confident the new XV would be able to catch the top two. But, as the Impreza has shown, more than doubling last year's year-to-date sales at 5161 to 2271, growth is definitely in reach. I think even if we could, we're not going to have enough cars to do it. But, from our point of view, that 1,000 car mark is probably where the car sits. The entry price is a terrific price point for what you get, but there are obviously CX-3, etc., have cheaper entry points than ours. So I think, given the market, and the price positioning, I think that's a pretty reasonable position for us. Although available in 4 trim grades, the new XV is offered with just one engine and transmission combination, a 2.0-liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated petrol engine, matched to a CVT automatic. And, unlike most rivals, it is available in all-wheel drive only, which likewise impacts on entry pricing. Elsewhere, the XV has been offered as a hybrid, including one with STI goodies, and while Subaru Australia has explored that option in the past, it is not expecting to offer the new version, when it appears, to the local market. At this point there is nothing definite on the cards yet. I know Subaru in Japan are working hard on hybrid technology, as well as electric, so we'd love to see some sort of hybrid model at some point in time. But at this point, there's nothing set in stone. Regardless of whatever volume aspirations he might harbor, Christie said the company's focus has been on matching production to demand and balancing investment in future models. I think it's a better situation than having too much, obviously. I think having the right level of stock, and from a factory point of view, them being able to sell as many cars as they can build means being able to invest more money into research and development, and build better cars as time progresses, he said. It'd be nice if there were a bit more stock, but obviously we'd never want to go too far the other way. Uber passengers will be slugged with a $1 fee for every trip as part of landmark reforms regulating ride-share services in Victoria. The reforms passed the upper house on Friday following a last-minute amendment introduced by Sex Party MP Fiona Patten to slash the per-trip levy from $2. The levy will apply to all taxi, Uber and other commercial passenger vehicles, with the money to be used for an industry transition fund. The government also agreed to remove a $50 million cap for the fund. The levy, which will be applied on a per-trip basis, will replace annual license costs, which can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Public Transport Minister Jacinta Allen said this would cut costs, increase competition and drive down fares for passengers. This legislation will regulate ride-sharing, cut fares and provide the most generous industry transition and support package for the existing taxi and hire car industry in Australia, she said. The reforms leave room for the levy to be hiked if the revenue is not enough to cover the costs of financial assistance provided to the taxi industry. Under Labor's proposed reforms, taxi license holders would receive up to $100,000 for their first license and $50,000 for their second, third and fourth licenses. On Saturday, Uber Victoria manager Lucas Groneveld welcomed the move, saying it would benefit everyone. Fiona Patten introduced sensible amendments to move reform forward for the benefit of the traveling public and the industry as a whole, Mr. Groneveld said. We are pleased the Legislative Council has accepted the amendments and trust the government will pass the bill when Parliament resumes. Opposition Police spokesman David Hodgett said the government voted for increased taxes on all Victorians. Daniel Andrews decided to target regional Victorians by voting to slug regional commuters for their taxi and Uber rides, Mr. Hodgett said.
Consider the Toyota Camry, whose moniker is derived from the Japanese word for crown, Kanmuri. This makes sense given the Camry has worn the U.S. sales crown as the #1 selling passenger car for 19 of the past 20 years. Yet mid-size car sales are declining, with 63% of U.S. auto buyers opting for trucks, SUVs, and crossovers. While the mid-size segment is still large, it increasingly rewards daring design. Just ask Kia. As of June 1st, the Optima has seen the smallest sales decline of any mid-size sedan in 2017. Enter the redesigned 2018 Toyota Camry, which aims to banish the model's bland reputation. For buyers accustomed to more sedate styling, this car's caffeinated, athletic appearance is sure to be polarizing. It's 2 inches longer and less than 1 inch wider than the Camry it replaces, and passengers sit about 1 inch lower than last year, something that won't go unnoticed by those used to an SUV's higher ride height. It will be offered in 5 grades, a new base level L trim, followed by the LE and XLE, identifiable by their sedate horizontal front fascia. The more athletic SE and XSE models sport a black painted roof, rear spoiler and side mirrors, an aggressive black mesh grille, and oddly placed, non-functional vertical vents below the taillights. The car's polarizing wardrobe cloaks an impressive new platform equipped with front McPherson struts and a new double wishbone rear suspension that results in admirable poise while carving corners. Power comes from an all-new 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine generating 206 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque paired to an all-new 8-speed automatic transmission. A revised 3.5-liter V6, with 301 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque, is also offered and is matched to the same transmission. Finally, the Camry Hybrid uses the 2.5-liter 4 and electric motors matched to a continuously variable automatic transmission. All Camrys have front-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is not offered. Despite the updated engines, there's remarkably little change in performance. The V6 is powerful enough to chirp the front tires, while the 4 provides sufficient power if drivers keep their feet buried in the throttle. If you prefer 4 cylinders to 6, try the hybrid. It boasts strong off-the-line acceleration and better fuel economy, 52 mpg combined on the LE hybrid with its lithium-ion batteries, 46 mpg on the SE and XLE hybrids with nickel-metal hydride batteries. Most buyers will opt for the 4-cylinder Camry, which returns 34 mpg combined. The V6 returns 26 mpg. Regardless of model, the Camry's beautifully designed interior is exceptional for a car of this class, with a roomy cabin, generous legroom and firm seats that prove surprisingly comfortable. The artfully sculpted instrument panel houses Toyota's Entune 3.0 infotainment system, with an improved user interface, but without Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Navigation is courtesy of the Scout app, which must be linked from your smartphone through Bluetooth. An embedded navigation system is offered on top-end models. Curiously, the hedonistic features found in some competitors, including memory seats, heated steering wheel, rear seat heaters or seat ventilation, aren't available. Toyota's Safety Sense suite, however, is standard, and it's fairly complete, although you must get a higher trim level to get a blind spot monitor and rear cross-traffic alert. A head-up display is a new feature. Since replacing the Corona with a Camry in 1983, Toyota has sold more than 18 million worldwide, most sporting a conservative persona. While there's little doubt that the 2018 Toyota Camry and its youthful aura is vastly better than the model it replaces, it remains to be seen if Toyota has gone a step too far with its styling. My guess is they haven't.